or a natural disaster? You've got Caribbean dwellers versus a hurricane, or stranded explorer. Okay, this is how you break down the plot. Yes, sir.
You didn't say what it was.
Is that internal or external?
External.
External. Okay. You will look for a second. You're going to need that paper as we go on. I want you to look at this piece of paper right here, okay? Okay. You are going to actually fill this out this week as you as you finish up the Scarlet Pimpernel. Some of this we're going to go ahead and work on right now. Okay, let's go down here. The main characters. Who are the main characters? Okay, SP Scarlet. Who else?
Marguerite.
I don't know if I'm spelling that correctly. What else? Who else?
The Chauvelin.
I'm gonna put it Shav. Anybody else that is a main character?
Sir Andrew.
Maybe. I would say he's secondary. Okay, what is the setting?
18th century.
Was it 18th century?
It's in 17.
Okay. Okay. Think back to the important pieces of setting. What's more about the setting?
French Revolution.
French Rev. Okay. Now, if you look right here, and you've got, I'm not doing all this, guys. You've got the pro versus and. So the protagonist versus the antagonist. Who is the protagonist and who is the antagonist? Okay. Who's the antagonist?
Shav.
Yeah. Is it really?
This is the French Revolution.
Okay, let's think about that for a second. Who is the antagonist? Is the antagonist Chauvelin, or is the antagonist
The guillotine.
society?
The guillotine.
Society, French society.
It's the society.
So which one would that fall under here for a second? Is that going to be, because you have to look and say, is this really man versus man? Is this really the Scarlet Pimpernel versus Chauvelin?
No.
Could you make an argument for that?
Yes.
I would not count you wrong if you call Chauvelin the antagonist. You would just have to explain how. Do you follow what I'm saying? You also, though, could look and say, this is more of a man versus society.
Does the Scarlet Pimpernel even know that Chauvelin exists at this point?
Oh gosh. I think he knows he exists. Because he was at, remember in the very beginning, he was at the bar. He was at the tavern, or whatever you want to call it. I always want to call it the bar. He was at the tavern when Chauvelin approached Marguerite. Grady?
Does he know his intentions?
Does he? Gracie's nodding her head yes.
No, she doesn't. That's what I meant.
Oh, you don't think he knows his intentions? Okay.
Do we already know the Scarlet Pimpernel at this point?
Yes.
Yeah.
You read ahead.
If you did the reading.
No, I read what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, if you read it
If
chapter
you read what you're
24.
supposed to be, you should know who the Scarlet Pimpernel is. Do you know who the Scarlet Pimpernel is? Okay.
But we're not
So
going to say.
I'm going to put Chauve, and I'm going to put question mark, and I'm also going to put French society. Okay, at the bottom, we have not really talked about theme yet, but I challenge you to look and see if you can find it. It says the lesson or moral of the story that the author is trying to teach you. We're going to go over theme more later, but we haven't gone over it yet, so I would challenge you to still try to figure it out. So let's look here for a second. If the protagonist versus the antagonist is what creates the conflict, what is the conflict? What is the conflict?
Death of the nobles. The aristocrats.
So, death or rescue
The big,
of French nobles?
Is this really conflict the biggest problem in the story? Why don't we just put the whole French Revolution? Because that is.
Could be, but are they trying to solve the French Revolution?
No.
There should say.
Okay, you've got to look back and say here, if this is where you get the conflict. You look at the protagonist versus the antagonist, and you have to figure out what that points back to.
Because Chauvelin's whole goal is just to kill the Scarlet Pimpernel. And the Scarlet Pimpernel's whole goal is to save nobles from getting their heads chopped off.
Okay? Which is the death or rescue of the French nobles, which is why I lean toward, for me, grading, if I was answering this, I would say French society, because I think that points back to this better. Okay, so what is this first part right here? Based on what I told you a second ago, and it's not on this piece of paper, what is this line called? It's the first element of your plot.
Rising action.
What?
Rising action.
Introduction.
No, look at your paper. 5 elements of plot. What's the first thing there?
Oh.
Look on this piece of paper. What is your first thing? I said keep it out, y'all.
Plot.
Nope. 5 elements of plot.
Oh, exposition.
Exposition. What was some of the stuff that happened in the exposition before we really saw the protagonist versus the antagonist? What's just some general information that we found out or that we knew or that happened during that time? Think back to the very beginning of the book.
The Scarlet Pimpernel escape.
Okay. SP escaped. Who was that we met in that very first thing that was humiliated when the Scarlet Pimpernel escaped? What was his name?
Oh, the guard at the gate.
So we're going to put French guard humiliated. We also found out about this pub with Jelly Band, right? And Sally. So then we find out right here. Now the question is, you have to go up here, you almost have to skip the rising action for a second and say, what was the climax? What, and we've already hit the actual climax, what was the most exciting part of the story that you would call the climax of the story? Yes?
When she finds out who the Scarlet Pimpernel is.
Okay, so Scarlet Pimpernel revealed, right? Revealed. Scarlet Pimpernel revealed. That goes at that T-top right there. Now you've got rising action though here. We've got stuff that brought us up to this point. What are some of the things that after we found out what the conflict was, what are some things that led us up to that time? So important pieces, Blake.
The dinner party
Okay.
thing.
Dinner party. What else?
The kind of argument thing between Marguerite and Sir Percy.
Okay. Percy. We argued. What else? There's one big thing here that has led to him being revealed that y'all are forgetting. It's huge.
Him leaving, or the ring.
Okay, there's that. There's still a bit, there's something else that's missing.
When Marguerite went into his
Yeah, that's the ring, so, but there's still
spaces.
Well, you may have to draw in more. Marguerite, Fawn's ring. Okay, hold on. Why did he leave?
Because he was the Scarlet Pimpernel and he acted as a role and as a not smart person. He covered up himself.
Okay, y'all
For
should
her
listen.
brother,
There you go. What's his name?
I don't know,
Armin St. Just or something like that.
St. Just.
We'll just put St. Just. I don't remember his name. Needs to be rescued.
Like Armin or something?
Yes. Okay, so you've got all this stuff that's leading up to that. Okay, you look on the right-hand side. You've got the falling action. We've hit the climax, so everything important that happens now is going to be coming down the side until you hit the resolution. The resolution is going to be how it all works out. So you need to make sure that you finish filling all that out this week. Okay, that is everybody's lit job this week. Do you have any questions?
No.
Sorry we had to go so quickly. Please make sure that you get that homework turned into me by Friday, and if you have questions, you need to call me, text me, email me, something, because we've got to get these nailed down this week. Okay?
When are we gonna start like writing actual papers?
It's gonna be a little bit. I hope that's still recording. Is it still recording?